entitled to ask for one, but I'm going to requisition just the same and still be held. So,
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, sir.
Both of you, well, let's see. So we're doing a waiver on this gentleman,
Mr.
right?
Johnson is a waiver, and then Mr. Damon.
Yes. Yes. All right. Good morning, Mr. Johnson. All right, Mr. Johnson, you are wanted out of Rutherford, Tennessee for violation of a protective order. Are you waiving formal extradition, sir? Okay, we wish you the best of luck. Now, is it Mr. Damon?
Damon?
Damon. So it's Damon is your last name.
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Damon, you are wanted out of, I think it's Sacramento, right?
thanks, Judge. He's wanted for
Yes, Judge.
robbery and minor violating laws of defining crime. But because he was a juvenile at the time of the offense and a juvenile court has jurisdiction in Sacramento County, is that under the ICJ, he's not eligible for the bond because it is the equivalent to the adult interstate compact agreement. However, because he is an adult now, if he signs a waiver, just as any other non-minor would, is that it would comply with the ICJ for waiving. However, if he refuses extradition, then we will requisition the demanding jurisdiction to come get him the similar way that we would for a governor's warrant. But it will go through the ICJ system and not through the typical.
It's not going to.
Because it was one of those, it's an unusual part because they're supposed to be detained in the juvenile separate, but because he committed an offense as an adult, he was originally held in the adult detention center, which is appropriate because when he was charged.
Yeah, but is it
now that
one of those issues where the compact gets involved and
It is, but
it's going to take forever just to get them out?
well, they have a shorter span for extraditing juveniles. I can't give you a time frame because it's when they submit the form, they have 5 days. I don't know how long that takes, and I don't want to lie, just making up a time. And so it's whenever the form is submitted, but they're generally very expeditious because there's not as many juveniles that are extradited. And so just by sheer
Have
numbers.
you, Ms. Chisholm, have you spoken to Mr. Damon here?
Yes, I have. And he, like I said, he's just 18. He just graduated out of high school and plans to go to PV. Had plans to go to PV, I believe.
Plans to do
actually
what?
He had plans to go to PV, Prairie View. So, and for him, this is coming out of left field for him. So, I'm not entirely sure if we can get a time frame since he's not eligible for a waiver. Is that what I'm hearing, Mr. Day?
No, eligible for a bond.
I'm sorry, for a bond. That's what I meant. Sorry.
Right, because the warrant was from 2023, but then he picked up an evading and that was dismissed. And then he picked up a unlawful carrying of a weapon charge, and that's still on bond, but it's still open. And so it didn't trigger until the second one made bond.
I would have a problem giving an 18-year-old a bond because
I know.
I don't know how he would even get back to California. When I was 18, I didn't have a pot to piss in, much less get a ride all the way to California, it'd be tough. I mean, have you spoken to any family members, Ms. Oko?
I've got his mom's name is Maisha. I've not been able to reach out to her. Not just yet. But that's the only person that I've got so far for him. So unless he has another number for me to call.
Because I can't imagine he has money to,
And regardless, it's one of those, the cart before the horse, because he can't make the bond because he's uneligible because of the compact between the states. And
there's a lot of things at play now, Mr. Damon. One of the things that you have to understand is that you are a flight risk because you have a fugitive case from California. You're wanted out of California. So even if I set you a bond now, you would probably have to make almost 100% of it. There's no 10%, there's no 20% because you have a fugitive case. So it's not your typical bond that you would have. Not only that, if I were to set you a bond and you make it, we give you 2 weeks from the day that you're released to make it all the way back up to Sacramento. You're 18. I don't know if you have a means of being able to do that. And I don't know who you have in your life that's able to do that. But regardless, even with all that said, because you were a minor when all this happened, the interstate compact comes into play. And that may even prevent me from even setting a bond in this case. Okay, so there's a lot to figure out here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have you go back, talk to your lawyer, and then,
Right, if he chooses not to waive today and he wants to refuse extradition, then I have to contact our liaison, who we have at the local offices here, and they will contact the offices out in California to start the requisition form to bring him over.
basically what we do here is we don't fight the underlying case. Like you're charged with robbery, you're also charged with another case out of Sacramento. What happened there, what's going on, that doesn't matter. The only thing that we're concerned about here is, are you Mr. Damon? That's what we fight here, identity, so to speak. So when people wave, it's, hey, that's not me. I'm a different John Smith. Here are my fingerprints, yada, yada. And so we try to figure out that. So that's what's going on here. Okay. If you refuse to waive extradition, we give that jurisdiction a limited amount of time to come pick you up. And if they don't come pick you up, we release you. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if you refuse extradition, if you refuse to waive, then essentially they're going to go back and they'll either get a governor's warrant, or because it's with the interstate compact, it's something completely
It's a different
different.
system. It's a requisition. It's equivalent to a governor's warrant in terms of
And
forcing
then
extradition.
that usually takes, are we still talking the 90 days?
I really don't know. That's why, because the last one was within a week. I mean, it's very, very quick, because again, there's not a lot of, interstate extradition for juveniles. And so it's a much, much smaller pool of people.
Because you were juvenile at the time and then turned the age of majority. It's a mess. Okay, so I'm gonna have you go back. I'll have you talk to your lawyer. You guys tell me what you want to do, and then we'll go from there. Okay, and then I'll have her advise you. Okay, all right, guys. Good luck,
Yes,
Mr.
I'll
Johnson.
I'll talk to him in a second.
Right, so 2 weeks from today. Okay, okay, guys.
Chisholm, did you need the other one out too?
Udo, the child support one?
Yes, please. So that way, yes, you said you had other issues, Mr. Day?
Yeah, financial feasibility and the date of the warrant, and the fact that I have now discovered she was aware of the warrant. Before I wasn't sure, because,
Honor.
yeah, but I'll send